myself. Bonsoir, mes amis. My name is Debbie Akers, and I'm here with Susie Wasserman, whom you will hear from later in the program, and together we are the co-chairs of the Atlanta chapter of the French Heritage Society. We are thrilled to present to you this evening French-inspired entertaining at home, no passport required. Our co-stars are French Culinary Academy chef Philippe Haddad from a beautiful home kitchen here in Atlanta, and noted event and garden designer Marie-Laure Coste Dujols from her beautiful floral boutique in Atlanta, Le Jardin Français. Both Philippe and Marie-Laure have generously donated their time this evening to all of us here at French Heritage Society. For our new friends, French Heritage Society is dedicated to the restoration, preservation, and promotion of all things French, both here in the United States and France. In the past, when we could meet face-to-face, our chapter hosted cocktails culturels with presentations and lectures related to French culture. It was an opportunity for all of us to gather together to celebrate everything French and to sip a bit of champagne. So we can't meet in person right now, but we can celebrate all things French, including our Atlanta chapter's 2020 grant recipients. So let's travel to France, shall we? First on our tour is Château de Penloir. This property is located near the southwestern coast of France. Our grant supports the restoration of the dovecote. Next, we have gardens at Château de Castries. This property is located near Montpellier, and the gardens are known as the Little Versailles of Languedoc. Our grant will support the restoration of the reflecting pool and the Grand Cascade Fountain. Our third grant is a chapel called Chapelle du Sacre-Cœur des Fouillants. This property is located in the center of Poitiers. Our grant will support the restoration of the dome. Our last French property is Château de la Rivoire. This 18th century property is located near Lyon in the southeastern part of France. Our grant will support the restoration of the roof. And now, back to the United States, we have George Washington's Mount Vernon, located in Virginia. Yes, we support French-affiliated historic renovations in the United States as well. Our grant specifically supports the restoration of Lafayette's bedroom, located at George Washington's Mount Vernon. If you would like to contribute to our grants, there will be links presented in the chat function of the Zoom call later this evening. In this environment, when we can't meet face-to-face, every dollar raised this evening goes towards our grants, and every dollar is greatly appreciated. Also, 100% of your contributions to our restoration grants are tax deductible. You can also support our mission by becoming a member or renewing your membership. Links will be shared as well. Now, I am thrilled to introduce to you our hostess and moderator for the evening, our very own Atlanta board member, Carolyn O'Neill, who herself is a food, nutrition, travel, and healthy lifestyle writer, a three-time James Beard Foundation Award winner for food journalism, a cookbook author, and a former CNN food show hostess. So we welcome you. We're glad you're here. We hope that you will enjoy the evening. Perhaps you will grab a glass of wine or champagne. And in the meantime, je vous présente Ms. Carolyn O'Neill.
Oh, Debbie, thank you so much. Thank you. And it has been so much fun working on this program with you, because I know we saw a lot of roofs that need repaired there with the grants of the French Heritage Society, of course, with chateaus and churches, historical places, the wallpaper, you know, at Mount Vernon in the Lafayette room. But beyond all of those things, we also at the French Heritage Society celebrate cultural heritage. And what could be better than cuisine? And of course, beautiful parties and lovely things that we have not been to in a long time. So that is why we thought tonight we would just entertain everybody and inspire you with French-inspired entertaining at home. And of course, I'm not doing that alone. We brought in the big guns here. And let me just introduce our panelists, and they will just join and click on your start your video and unmute your, of course, your microphones. We'd love to see you in the screen. So I am going to, there we are. Oh my gosh. Don't you love these beautiful little boxes that we put ourselves in? But that's the way we are together. Now, Chef Philippe Haddad and Marie-Laure Coste Dujols, do you notice one thing, everybody, attendees? Do you notice there's something similar in each of our boxes? And those are the beautiful flowers. And of course, they are from Le Jardin Français. You're going to hear so much more about this. And that is Susie Wasserman popping up on our screen there. We're going to hear from her later. And well, good to see you, Susie. She is the co-chair of the French Heritage Society here in Atlanta. And, we usually have all kinds of events, but this is our first virtual one. So hold on, folks. And I hope Marie-Laure and Philippe, you have something to drink because it's going to be a fun ride.
There's no way we can do anything without wine.
Well, it is French-inspired entertaining at home. So let me tell you a little bit about, and welcome everybody, bienvenue, and I hope you're all enjoying a little bit of something too. I have several really good friends on the call tonight. I know Jenna Crispin is probably drinking a little champagne. And well, anyway, Atlanta-based, Philippe Haddad. You know, Philippe is from Belgium. So if you try to tell him that you want French fries, he will correct you and say, no, they're Belgian fries, correct?
That is correct.
I mean, you know, we're all about historical accuracy at the French Heritage Society. Anyway, of course, he went to culinary school in Belgium and then worked in renowned kitchens in Belgium, in France, the United Kingdom, Bermuda, the West Indies, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and of course, the United States here in Atlanta, Georgia. And Philippe, just a couple of years ago, was awarded, and you have to be inducted, this is really special, into the French Culinary Academy. And I believe it says that right there on your chef's jacket tonight, French Culinary Academy. And most importantly, we'll hear a little bit more about this. You know, we've had a little downtime here, and so chefs are having to pivot and do new things. But a chef wants to cook and a chef wants to treat. So Philippe has launched an in-home dining experience catering business with beautiful contemporary and traditional French-inspired cuisine, and we'll hear more about that. All right, our next speaker, who we're going to be hearing from, is the beautiful Marie-Laure Coste Dujols. And she is the owner and the lead designer of Le Jardin Français, which is a beautiful, well, they do floral, they do events, garden design. But if you haven't been to her shop in the west side part of Atlanta, do yourself a treat. It is a floral fairyland. And you can see just by the background there where she's seated. And of course, she is from France and grew up there. And her family actually had a bed and breakfast, a nursery, an exhibition garden. And so we're just so incredibly happy to have you here. She takes flowers very seriously, and we're happy they also travel. And so if you need some, they're just perfect. So let's get started here. And just to kick it off here, I want to ask Philippe a question. And Philippe, first of all, how would you describe French-inspired entertaining at home? And then for our attendees tonight, what's on the menu?
Well, Caroline, first of all, thank you very much, and the French Historical Society to having me on Zoom tonight. It's unfortunately the way we live today in this new world, but you know, we're still all together. We're there in spirit, and all of us are trying to present something that go back to history and classic foods from France in particular. So I think for my personal experience living there and having been there and worked there, I think that what we brought especially to the table is when we do these private events, like you say right now, most people are very comfortable in their own home, their surroundings. They really actually didn't realize that they could do that. So instead of coming to us and the situation, we come to them. So we bring a full-blown service, food experience, and a luxury dining experience to your house, which is really a lot of fun. And then tonight, for the classic menu, we're gonna have, to begin with, a soup de courge butternut, which in reality is a butternut squash with caramelized cauliflower. Then I'm gonna show that in just a moment. I have my pot getting warm. And we're gonna have also a coq au vin, which usually is done with a rooster, but we're going to do with a chicken, and I will show you that as well. And then to finalize, we're going to do a French crepe with a little surprise. But I'm not going to give you all my secrets right now.
You know, it's interesting you say the crepes. So have you seen a little comeback to the classics? I mean, you said coq au vin, and you said the crepe. I will say it's a suzette. And watch out, folks. We're going to be doing some flaming desserts later, so you don't want to miss that.
Yeah, Suzette is not my sister, by the way.
Have you seen a return to the classics for people when you're entertaining in people's homes, Philippe?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
A return, sort of a desire for some of the classic French.
I think 100%. It's a very good question. Actually, right now, you know, because of what's happening in the last 6 months, I think that the dynamics have all gone back to the classics, and there's no better time than now. So going back to the classics, it's like a full-blown turn, in my opinion. What used to be amazing that kind of faded out, we're going to the nouvelle, more modern cuisine, and so on. Everything comes back, but we can do it with a modern twist, a little bit lighter. We can do gluten-free, we can do vegetarian, we can do things that before was heavy sauces and heavy stocks and things that people say, I don't want to be part of that anymore because it's too much for me, you know, at this point in my life. Well, we're gonna show you, and we're gonna also entertain you with that, all in mind.
Well, that is what we're doing tonight. And folks, you know, the menu that we're featuring tonight, we will make that available to you in a PDF form so you can have that. And also, Philippe is going to be sharing some recipes, which we can email to you, and just let us know if you would like the recipes. All right. So, Philippe, we're going to let you get started on your soup. And then we're going to, and you stay there because we're going to watch you do the cooking. But now we're going to bring Marie-Laure in. And Marie-Laure, I would like to ask you the same question. How do you feel like, you know, when you're putting together events and of course thinking about the design and the flowers, how would you say that this is French inspired entertaining at home? What makes it different? What makes it French?
Good evening and welcome in our boutique. It's just a little corner of the boutique, but I am very excited to be with you all tonight. Thank you for having me. And I definitely would love to introduce you to the season that is just starting, fall, and that is the inspiration for all of our design, and as well as a lot of table and top experience and menus in French inspired dining. In all our design, floral, event, and garden design, we are inspired by the rhythm and the beauty of nature. We follow the seasons and everything that we do. And I think that is key. Seasonality is key in French-inspired menus and tabletop decor. Tonight, I would love to share some tips on floral design and table configuration and how to pair the flowers and the decor with the experience of through the menu and the food.
You know, one thing is I've gotten to know you a little bit better. When you say seasonality, and I think a lot of us think about winter, spring, summer, fall, but you are actually more specific. It could be late summer. It could be early fall. So you see the seasons almost have seasons within themselves, right?
Absolutely. And right now, the nights are getting colder, just a little, just enough to start giving some color to foliage. It's really just the beginning. I was noticing this week just the dogwood have changed color. And then a few weeks from now, those nights will have gotten consecutive enough and cool enough to where we will have a lot more color. And then when the temperatures go down again, and the sap will go down into the tree, into the roots of the tree, and that's when the leaves will start falling. So yes, you are correct that it is changing every day, every week. And when you come into the boutique, while right now we have had dahlias for the last weeks of summer, and we will have dahlias for the next.
Is that what's next to you, Marie-Laure? Do you touch the dahlia for us? Is there one in there? Right?
My big inspiration of the moment are
wow.
There are 3 types of dahlias. pompon dahlias, camellia dahlias, and cactus dahlias. That's the shape of the different blooms. And so I will show you how to work with them tonight. They are really stunning.
And you know what? I just have to tell you, we've got some interactivity going on already with our participants. And Deirdre, I hear you. Yeah, there will be a recording available. She says her mom would love to see this later. And then and also just to remind you, you can put your questions in the Q&A. And I know that some of you have been active in the chat already, but don't worry, as your moderator, I will pay attention to what you need to know. So Marie-Laure, merci beaucoup for that. We can't wait to see what you're going to create for us. Let's go back to the kitchen and check in with Philippe, who looks like he is stirring and whirring there. So Philippe, I'm just going to allow you to present your butternut squash soup. And I know that there's a little bit of a before and after you'd like to show us as well.
Oh, absolutely. And first, what I would like to do is show the raw ingredients. We have a beautiful butternut squash, right? Because of the COVID and everything, I allow myself to do a sous vide bag and peel and everything to show you, so there's no contact with the food. And we have a Granny Smith apple, we have some shallots, and we have some cauliflower that we slice. And then we slightly do a little curry, olive oil, some turmeric. We roast it in the oven, and then we're going to garnish that with the soup. So the soup right now, as you can see, we roasted and caramelized everything. I hope that you can see what we're doing here. And I'm going to show you how to present that in just a moment. And at the same time, in the kitchen, there's always a few secrets. And Caroline, you know that.
Yes, I do. Do you want us to show the photographs from your work earlier today, right now?
Yeah, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning just thinking about you, about my soup. What can I do? So it was a lot of work. Huh? So I'm going to show you the pictures right now.
I got to start roasting vegetables. I've got the Zoom for French Heritage. So we're going to show you some photographs, folks. And yes, people have asked about the recipes already. All right, Philippe.
Sure, absolutely.
There's a lot going on here. And then
so the soup, basically you roast the vegetables. I'm going to fast forward that everything. You can do it in the oven. You can do it in a pot as I caramelize them right now with a little butter. You know, in Europe, we like to use whole butter, and it's very important. We use a little more butter than olive oil. But, you know, it's all about how much you use of everything. You know, if you use a lot of it, nothing is good in large quantity. But it's caramelized. We use vegetable stock. And by the way, the recipe you are going to get is 100% vegetarian and also gluten-free, guys. So I did that because right now people are, for 6 months, they'll be eating, drinking at home all day long. There was nothing else to do. And everybody's gaining weight. So guess what? Now we're going to do gluten-free and vegetarian. So you eat that for 2 weeks, guys, and you lose 10 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And so you have to get, but don't forget.
Well, let's go to the next picture there. Then this shows you that you have taken the veg in this photograph. Can you see it, Philippe? And obviously you've added some stock to it or something.
Yeah, I know. You put some vegetable stock, then we cook it down. And I love to use a burr mixer, a Vitamix for that matter. That machine, that makes wonder. And I turn it on. I don't know if you can see it from distance, but that machine really grinds everything, blends on very high speed. Then you just put it back in the pot, season it, and then there's no cream, by the way. So I'm going to show you quickly how.
Okay, we'll take you full screen again then. So then we'll take Philippe, who's going to plate up the soup.
Right.
We
plate up the soup, the caramelized cauliflower. You go in the middle. They're dark, but they're crispy, but they have a turmeric and a little curry background, yeah? A little bit of a secret, first one. Because we're in the fall, we like spices. Spices, you know, that refer to the fall. So I refer to cinnamon, nutmeg, things like that. So if you don't want that in the soup, so I would recommend you just put it just on the plate. This is a little nutmeg. Now we're doing a little bit of soup, cinnamon. And you know what happens? It just falls on the edge of the soup. It's not too strong. And it's just enough. If you don't like it and you just eat just with the soup, you still have the perfume, the fragrance, and the spices that come up to you without having to be in the soup itself, correct? So that, having said that, we really,
Yeah, let's see if we can get a little angle. That is beautiful. And that's a great soup bowl. Wow. It's all in the presentation, that's for sure. And
You know, we eat with the eyes, with the nose, and then we eat the taste. The senses and the taste buds are always what we are banking on to tell yourself, wow, this is a lot of flavor, or it's too heavy or too light. But to me, a soup like this, you can't go wrong. You can make it a day in advance, 2 days in advance, put it in the refrigerator, heat up a little bit when you want to at any given time. So it's really a lot of fun to make the soup. You can do that with butternut squash. You can do it with pumpkin. So, I mean, it's same principle. If someone says, I'm not crazy about butternut squash, you can go with pumpkin if you prefer to, or acorn squash for that matter.
the winter squashes. You know, it's
Yeah.
interesting. Flower, you know, of course, is really into the plant kingdom, as we all know now. And it was interesting, Philippe, you were chatting with her on the phone, and most of it was in French. But you mentioned that butternut squash and eating these kinds of squash was not really a tradition in France. And that's why on your original menu, you had like, what was it, musqué?
Musqué, yes.
And that was more like an ornamental kind of a gourd. But now in France, they say butternut, like le bon weekend, it'd be like the butternut. A word in French, right?
It's very true. So before, when in France, they used to use decorative, and Marie can attest to that, has a very good analogy about how we talked about it a few days ago. And she really did a good analogy on that. And I would love for her to say that again, because it was perfectly said. I couldn't do it better than she did. And, but for us, but now in France, people do it again, and they call it, you know, butternut, which I was profusely looking for the terminology butternut in French. Musqué is really it, but for us there, that's not it. We don't use it in food. We use it as a decorative. As you could see right here in front of, behind me in the kitchen,
Musqué.
you know, we have, yes.
Well, let's now take a deep dive. Congratulations on butternut squash soup. And yes, everybody, you can't believe all the comments, Philippe. People want the recipe. Let's get to the coq au vin. And I know this is not a recipe that comes together à la minute. It is something that takes a lot of preparation. So why don't we again go to your slides to show behind the scenes what you did earlier today.
Guys, this dish in particular for me is a comfort dish. Yet elegance, has an elegance to it, has flavor, has it's original. It takes time. The best time is to do it the day before, and the next day is always better, right? The flavors really go into the food. But I think that this dish is very easy to make, and I'd be happy to share that again, once again. So I will show you the ingredients. So we have carrots. And mind you, this was my version. So if you choose a vegetable that you don't exactly prefer, you don't have to. But we have a celery root. I love celery root. We have some beautiful small trumpet mushrooms, beach brown mushrooms, carrots, shiitake mushrooms. You know, this dish is very earthy. So being braised, earthy, you have mushrooms, you have root vegetables, you braise everything. You in French we call arroser au vin rouge. You know, I mean, I do that too with myself, but I can't hose myself with wine in traditional French. If you translate it, you drink wine, but the chicken you do actually, right? So you start off with your mushrooms, your carrots, and also your celery. You really caramelize a little bit, put it on the side. Then you sear your chicken as you could. I have the pictures for you on the screen that will show you. And you just color it on high heat, very nice color. Put it on the side. Put the vegetable back into the pot. So the flavors from the chicken now that are caramelized on the bottom of the pot. You put the vegetables inside. You add a little bit of flour. You can add a little bit of chicken stock, red wine. By the way, I am drinking beautiful Burgundy wine. It's a young wine. It's not an old classic chateau, but it's appellation contrôlée. It's super nice, and it goes very well. Burgundy, of course, goes very well. If you don't care for French Burgundy, I suggest you go with a Pinot Noir. You can go Pinot Noir from Oregon. Why? Because Oregon is wet. The terroir is moist. It has a great, has a lot of water. The dirt is very dense. And this is why we use mushrooms, by the way. You know, mushrooms give you earthiness. I like to work with flavors, perfumes, just like a perfume, a synergy of perfume, of flowers, food, and ingredients, spices, and herbs. That gives you a lot of great, beautiful things. Let me tell you about the chicken. So I put this chicken, I marinated yesterday in a sous vide bags with tarragon, herbs. You can all do that at home. If you have a little machine at home, you can do it. They're not expensive, but at the same time, they keep the oxygen out, and it's a vacuum pack. So it has a long term, it doesn't go bad. I did the same with the chicken thighs. I broke down this chicken.
Let's take
over
Philippe
here
again, Ben. Thank you.
So here we have a chicken thigh. I have sage inside and a chicken leg. And the chicken leg and the thighs is what I use tonight. So basically, I just wanted to show you the raw products before we go into the process of preparation.
It looks so pretty every step of the way. Now, the wine that you're drinking, do you use the same wine in the recipe as you do in the cook? Or like always say, like, don't use horrible wine, obviously, when you're cooking.
Well, there's two things. If you're going to drink a serious Burgundy, I suggest you drink it for yourself.
Okay.
If you drink a wine like this, the perfect recipe is 1 cup for the chicken, 2 cups for you.
Okay.
Now, so here is another thing. I also put, you're going to say, what is this potato about? So this is a russet potato. The russet potato I like for a pomme puree. So basically, I cook the potato in salt water. I drain it. I let it dry very hard. I put some whole butter and a little bit of warm cream, a pinch of nutmeg, salt and pepper, and we put it to the mill. We have a very fine puree. I added on as a little, you know, because I wanted to do something different. I put some roasted shallots inside, and then on separate note, and then I chopped them up and put it in the puree. So you have that little roasty mashed potato, if you will, that is going to be a lot of fun. I have it here, and I'm going to just make a little.
Oh boy.
You know, you see, it has a little brownish look because of the shallots. Now comes the serious piece, and I'm going to show you exactly now what's going to happen.
I think I'm going to take another sip while you're doing that.
Yeah. I think you should.
With,
1 sip, 2 sips. Like I said, it's always interesting. Once you start drinking wine, the wine calls you. So you see over here, I don't know if you can see this, but it became a very dark due to red wine. So we have the legs, we have the thighs. This process all took about, all in all, about 2.5 to 3 hours. You can do it also again the night before, and then heat them on very slow heat. What I would recommend also is that the chicken thighs, why do I like chicken thighs before the breast? The breast I use for grilling and other preparation. Or you could do sous vide chicken breast, which stays nice and moist and tender, right? The chicken leg, the chicken thigh are really moist, even though you braise them. So when you have a chicken thigh, I'm going to show you how it comes apart right here.
Braising is a breeze, right? Cooking, you just forever, and then you just leave it alone, right? Like, just does its thing in the pan once you get it all.
Right. See, I'm going to show you quickly. I hope you can see this. It falls apart, right?
Oh my
so
God, delicious.
it still is a beautiful color and lots of flavor. And then you have inside the little root vegetables, carrots, celery, shallots, and celery root. All of that combined with thyme, bay leaf, everything is in the recipe again. I love sage. Sage is an amazing flavor, and I take it out after a little while, otherwise it becomes too strong and overpowers. This is just in the beginning. Then I finish it with the tarragon, which is in here.
Right.
I love tarragon. If I open another restaurant, I will call it estragon because I am obsessed with the tarragon.
Well, we are so excited about your butternut squash soup, and of course,
thank you.
And hold that up to the camera because we're going to go back to Marie-Laure in a moment. But of course, you are going to look at that. You're getting the veg on there. Oh
right.
My gosh! Of course, chef's garnish. Look at that. Look at
So it's a very classic, very comfort food, but a lot of flavor. And at the end of the day, today what we like is good food, good flavors. You want a fine dining recipe or fine dining 5-course dinner, call me. I will do it at your house. And we're going to have a lot of fun together. I can promise you that.
Oh, you know what, Philippe? Thank you for that. Enjoy that wine. But, you know, you're going to be cleaning up that area and getting ready to do a little fiery.
Oh,
suzette.
I'm gonna call my sister.
We're going back to Le Jardin Français. You enjoyed that. I wish everybody is just commenting. They can't wait to try this. Oh, Marie-Laure, that.
Thank you very much.
Oh yes, we will see you in a moment for dessert, Philippe, and that
Perfect.
Was fantastic. And it's good to know we can eat all of these things. And my favorite book, of course, French Women Don't Get Fat, by Mireille Juliana, and it is my Bible, and a lot of champagne. Anyway, Marie, wow. So the flowers that you sent to Philippe, can you tell us a little bit about what was in there? And then I have some flowers behind me. Susie had flowers. What? I know you talked about the dahlias, but just jump right in. What is around you, and what are you creating with right now?
Definitely inspired again by this.
No, it's not finished.
Now the end of summer was a lot of different berries and viburnum berries, the dark berries that are in Philippe's bouquets, as well as peppercorn berries, also because he was working in the kitchen tonight. So Philippe, you can grab a few peppercorn berries from the bouquet and put it in the soup if you'd like. Don't mix it up for the viburnum berries because that wouldn't go well. But berries are the fruits at the end of the summer, just like right now it is the season for apples and pears and persimmons. It is also the season for ornamentals, shrubs to go into berries. So that is very inspiring for me at the end of the summer, as well as hydrangeas. I think we included some antique hydrangeas, and in his composition, antique hydrangeas, you are also getting some of the color from old, and these dry really beautifully. So we have them in the boutique, and different varieties at this time of year that are getting these colors from the cold at night, as I described earlier. And as well, I believe we had some coral terrier seed pods. I'm gonna try to move out of the screen. This is a tree that grows locally in Georgia that we're using quite a bit this time of year. And all these berries and hydrangeas, we preserve, we dry, or company culture is based on the eco-conscious for nature and the rhythm of nature, and we create kind of an ecosystem within a composition. So the composition that Philippe has tonight is going to dry really well as well, and I believe he had some dahlias as well.
Wow. And you know, it's interesting about the hydrangea, and can people, if they have hydrangeas in their yard, is there something they should do, like cut them? What should they do to, you know?
Yeah, as I want to share some tips with you tonight. Thanks for asking, Caroline. So one of the, just like Philippe is important to working with products and produce that are in season and knowing how to buy the product, for us is working with quality product, is also working with product that hasn't been forced out of its natural cycle in a greenhouse, for example. So I don't have tulips at this time of year or peonies. I have hydrangeas and dahlias. And so working with quality product, but as well knowing how to process the product, knowing how to cut the product. So commonly people think they need to cut their flowers with clippers, shears, or even scissors.
Yeah.
This a couple of days ago, and I hope you guys now, I know where the camera is, and I changed the angle of the light. So if I am cutting with clippers, I'm doing it very slowly. I'm gonna try to get closer to the camera here. I am really smashing the stems. These are the hydrating cells around, just like a tree. And I have reduced hydration by using the wrong tool by about 40%. So if you start with an hydrangea that has been too long on display and then you're cutting it with scissors, then you tell yourself that you don't have a green thumb. But it's not about, it's about the quality of the product you're working with, and it's as well about knowing how to, what tool to use. So the key is using a knife. It's a little bit different blade than Philippe. This is a grafting knife. And we cut the flowers at an angle, and this is a clean cut.
Wow.
Hydrangea, for example, they like to be split.
Okay, so more water is getting in there, more hydration, so that it can stay more, essentially, you're getting more life out of your flowers, you know?
Yeah, any woody blooms need to be cut, and I'm sorry, I know I'm moving out of the screen. Woody blooms needs to be cut with an additional split. Any flower needs to be cut with a knife.
Wow. Wow. Okay. That is, we all have those clippers, and I guess, what if you cut it at a side, at an angle, like if it's a rose or another kind of, can you cut it at an angle if it's not a woody thing and it would get more hydrated?
Yes, as well, for sure. But it is about having the clean cut. So cutting.
Oh boy, here we go. She is good at that. You are a pro. You are a pro at that.
This is a clean cut. And again, if you're cutting with clippers, you are smashing the stem, as you can see. I'm pretty proud of how well you could see this. So this cut. So that's key. And if flowers are for some reason wilting, dehydrating, again, if the flower isn't too old, you can rehydrate them, especially hydrangeas. A lot of people feel that hydrangeas don't hold up in the boutique. The hydrangeas we sell last about 2 weeks.
Wow.
And the tip that we give is to put them in boiling water for about 30 minutes. And that opens up all the hydrating cells and allows water to go into the bloom faster. And that will perk flowers right back up. You can also, Philippe, use that tip with salad, lettuce, basil, parsley, any greens that you use in the kitchen. Sometimes you have kept them in the fridge for a little bit too long and the salad looks a little bit wilted, and the parsley as well. You can cut it, put it in a glass with boiling water for, again, about 30 minutes. You'll see it perk back up, cut it again, put it in cold water. If you cut your lettuce, put it in the salad spinner in the sink and put it in really hot water. Well, the hot water that comes out of the faucet is enough.
It seems so counterintuitive.
Right back up.
All of this is so important, because if somebody is doing a huge event, and let's go to your beautiful photographs, Marie-Laure, because if you're doing a huge event for somebody with all these flowers, for gosh sakes, of course you want them to last not just through the evening, but maybe to the next day. So talk about some of these photographs and what you see here through your magical eyes.
Yes, and for event work is a little bit different because we want the product to be at optimum presentation for that event. this tablescape here, this is an event design that we did for a wedding in Highland, North Carolina, where we handle the entire table configuration, linens, chairs, everything that you see aesthetically, and and a collection of vessel. What I definitely would like to introduce you to tonight is the how to work with the intersections of where guests are sitting at a table, rather than having an oblong single composition.
Slide, Ben. Let's go next one.
Yeah, Art de la Table has evolved over the years, and there is no longer the need for a very heavy oblong position in the center that would be too formal. I always work with our clients with the understanding of how many guests are sitting on the table and help with the configuration of the sitting.
The next slide, because each of these images really illustrates what you're talking about.
Yes.
Wow.
And we specialize in estate seating. This is at the Swan Coach House.
Wow.
We built these tables for this event, as well had designed the linens, the chair back, the napkins, and this is more of a end of summer feast.
It looks like it could be at Versailles. I mean,
yeah, all in English silver. Was a really beautiful event. And again, as you can see, the guests are facing each other. So when they're sitting, the flowers are complementing. They're not overwhelming. Well, maybe on this one, it's very, very opulent, but people can see and converse. It is not impeding on the view and the conversation.
Right, and if you get hungry, you can just grab an apple. You know, one of our attendees, my friend Roseanne, says it's an outdoor fantasy. And of course, more people are entertaining outdoors right now because we know why. Let's go to the next slide. And okay, now this is a good view because you can see you've got little vignettes going on and yet not too high.
Yes, with the combination again of a lot of end of summer fruits and grapes and blooms and seed pods at the bottom left here you can see, and the seat assignment was in little apples. And there's a piece of rosemary tucked into or fold. Philippe asked me about my favorite fold, and my favorite fold is a flat fold in the center of the table.
People are being blown away by this.
Sorry.
I think we have one more. Oh boy, with the candles. Nighttime.
Yes, and Caroline, I know you asked more about the flowers and on the first slide. And for these events, we put the flowers in warm water, so the roses open up slowly, but fully, so we can have opulent at optimum presentation blooms. So here we have some garden roses and dahlias as well.
Okay, and I see there's some little berries there. And so you put them not in cold water, but in warm water. Wow.
Warm water for if we want the flower to open up. Yes.
Okay, okay, very good. And Ben, I don't know, do we have another one? Everybody, we're just like lapping these up. Okay, we're back to Marie-Laure. Okay, you want to show us something. You're going to make something for us.
Yes, I think that
fun.
As described in the estate table that we just saw, this is like a very sweet collection of vessels that we like to use in tabletop, and I want to show you how to work with them, and just finding a really incredibly beautiful bloom and knowing how to display it. Here, I'm going to work in collections. And wow. As you can see, I'm cutting with the knife.
So no, you don't have to have matchy-matchy. You can just mix a bunch of different shapes, sizes. It's the same kind of theme though, so they're not too tall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that when, and I'm a little far here, so it doesn't get too busy visually. You want the composition to be all a little bit different. It is repetitive per intersection, so you would have every other intersection would have, or every intersection would have the same collection of vessels. And I like to work again under eye level, under the glassware.
Would you say this is something, I'm just going to ask, is this something sort of French? To do something a little unexpected, a little different, a little individual, little surprises on the table?
I think, yes.
Yes. And it is something here at the French Heritage Society we're trying to preserve, okay? So everybody go to Goodwill and find all kinds of crazy stuff, and you can have an elegant table as well.
Yeah, and we work with roses that are considered heirloom roses that have a double center. A long time ago, these were discarded by farms, and now they're back in fashion, like old.
No way. Oh my.
It was double petals.
We have ugly vegetables. That is definitely not an ugly flower. And one of our attendees, Liz Weiss, who is on Nantucket, by the way, right now, wants to know, what is the temperature of the water in the vase and why? You said it opens up the bloom, right?
Those are cold right now because I want them to last.
Okay.
So any of the composition that we deliver every day as gifts from people who are gifting flowers to each other can come into the boutique, buy flower by the stem, and we can make a French hand-tied or work in vases. Our signature composition are designed in cold water. But I was giving you tips for events. If you want the rose to open up, presentation, you want to work with warm water, and then the boiling water is for instant hydration when flowers are wilting.
Well, I think that Marie-Laure, you have given us a total appreciation for your level of expertise and knowledge, not just about what's in season, but what to do with all the individual different creatures. You know what I mean? They're all like different. Oh, look at that.
I don't know if you can see. Okay, so this is
I have
a rose, and it's really the color of an apricot, but I think with the light you can't see it very well. So I'm working on a collection. One is just dahlias, the other one is garden roses, and then I make.
You know, it reminds me of the color of what will be the Crepes Suzettes, and so we're going to go back to Philippe in his kitchen, Marie-Laure, and then we're going to check in on you. Don't go away. It is a joy to watch you put these together, and we're all learning from this. Okay, and you've and then I'm going to ask you about your floral classes in a little bit. So Philippe, well, what have you been doing since we were gone? There's Chef. I see you're ready.
You know, I almost like fell asleep. No, I'm just kidding. I was admiring and I was educated by this beautiful educational flower concept, because some of the things she told me or told us, I had no idea. So I'm going to go back to that store because I want to learn more about that, the combination, you know, the perfect marriage of a great. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. We can hear you fine.
Sorry. So in the meantime, I did some crepes, guys, right? The crepes, look, they're so tiny, beautiful. And I'm gonna make a sauce. So crepes suzette, we have orange juice, sugar, and butter. We're gonna caramelize that in the pan. And you guys can also do this at your house. But the next couple of steps are safe. They all safe, actually. You just have to make sure the ceiling is high. But
Philippe, tonight we're playing with fire, and Marie-Laure is playing with a very sharp knife. And one of our attendees says, "Hey, do you ever cut yourself with that little machete?" So we've got a lot of danger here, but you know, experts at work. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, listen, we all here, we have tools. We have sharp knives, sharp scissors, like herself. So you know what happened is this: with the orange, I'm gonna cut the orange. We're going to squeeze the fresh orange juice, and then after that, we're going to basically caramelize the sugar and the orange juice, the butter. And what I'm going to show you in the meantime is this. I took another orange and I took a, I'm not gone, don't worry, don't panic. I took with a peeler.
Plenty of time, Philippe. Plenty of time.
With a peeler, I did a little thin zests. We're going to put them on top of each other, just like that. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to be scared. One secret, again, make sure you have a very sharp knife. Sometimes people are very shy. They go, oh my God, I don't like sharp knife because it's, no. If you have a bold knife, the edge, you have a better chance to cut yourself really badly than with a sharp knife. So what we're doing here is we're gonna do a julienne. It's called a julienne of zest of orange. So what we're doing here, we're going to basically give you a small tip. When you do these, you have to do three things. Chef's tips again. You must blanch these in a little bit of a small pan, a very small skillet, a little bit of water, bring it to a boil, put the zest inside for 15-30 seconds. Take it out, have another pan ready, put them back in the fry. We do that 3 times. Why we do that is to take the bitterness out of the orange. Once the orange is blanched 3 times, you pat them dry. You make your sauce, as we were starting here with the orange juice, and then I'm going to show you. Can you see this?
And what is that? Hold it up a little higher.
This is the orange zest.
Okay. Cooked down.
Right? And this is cooked down in a little bit of orange juice at the end with sugar. Exactly what I did here.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. Now, the crepes are ready.
Oh, one of our attendees wants to know what's the best pan to make crepes.
Teflon is the best because it doesn't stick. And one of these, you use something rubbery. You use a non-stick pan is the best because that way you won't have a problem with the dough. I can send you a crepe recipe if you like. I have a great one. You can't fail. It's very easy. There are 4 steps to it. Flour, eggs, sugar. You can do a little bit of orange. Once again, you can take, before you throw away this orange that you use, you can make a little bit of with my favorite tool, a zester. You put it like this inside. Voila.
Zester.
I love this machine. Whoever invented, I should have been the guy that invented that. And then, you know what? I use a little bit of Grand Marnier. The Grand Marnier, listen guys, this guy is I don't know if you remember. Oh yeah, it's my girlfriend. She's always drunk. She doesn't want to come out. It's really tough to come out.
Yeah, she's at the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, Moulin Rouge, voila. And this bottle is 150-year-old old design of Grand Marnier. This was designed in 1977 at the anniversary of Grand Marnier. So what we do now here, guys, we're going to, I don't know if you can see that. I have to show you that. The caramelization, can you see it?
Yep.
The caramelization of the sugar, orange juice, the orange, the zest, everything, and then we're going to make the perfect recipe with this. You put 1 ounce.
Okay, you're really good at measuring.
Yeah, look.
Oh, wait a minute, let me put on my protective gear. I have
I see your protective gear.
Yes.
Wow. I see that. So
Wow.
look, guys.
Okay,
here,
give us a tip about how to light it on fire safely.
The sauce is ready. And then
you
put the zest
closer to your cutting board. Move the plate closer to your cutting board so we can see. Yeah, baby, that's
voila, good. Like this. So basically you have the orange zest, the caramelization, the orange juice, the Grand Marnier, and then, if you notice, I have a little French Limoges plate for this evening. And then with that, a little bit of powdered sugar.
Wow.
Guys, this is the best dessert. It's very classic. Very few restaurants do it anymore. Actually, you can't find it very much anymore. I love it. It's one of my favorites, and it's not difficult to make. The sauces makes everything. A good quality crepe does it all. You can make it in advance. You can make the sauce in advance. You can flambe like I did just a little bit, just the last minutes, and you're ready to go. Everybody will love it after a nice dinner. If you want to go another step further, you could put a little bowl of butternut, pecan butter ice cream or vanilla ice cream on the middle, put the crepes that are warm on top, and then the sauce on top of that. Absolutely amazing. So I hope you enjoy that.
Philippe, merci beaucoup, chef. And you know what? Another reason to have a chef come and entertain you in your home, because at the restaurant, they might not be able to light it on fire, but you can do it in the safety of your own home with a professional chef, right, Philippe?
100%. Oh, we've done some really a lot of fun. And, you know, we've been very lucky with the weather. Look at that today in Atlanta. It's, you know, 75, 77 degrees. Tomorrow evening, I have a beautiful dinner. I have a wedding coming up on Saturday. And, you know, we're going to do all outside. So we're very fortunate. And thank you again for having me. I wish everyone that are watching and everyone on Zoom that health and peace and success to come for 2021.
Thank you, Philippe, and to you too, and to more great food and wine and beautiful flowers, Marie-Laure. I want to thank both of you. Don't go away because we're still enjoying your fabulous expertise, but I'm going to bring in Susie Wasserman. And if you do have some questions for Philippe or Marie-Laure, please let me know. And we can also open up our cameras if you want to be on the screen. Here comes Susie. I am going to let her kick off the exciting ending of our show so that people can join us if you'd like. Just everybody, attendees, we'd love to see you. Roseanne and Liz and my friend Sharon out in California, join us. Take it away, Susie.
First of all, I want you to see this amazing arrangement that I got from Marie-Laure. That is, I mean, I can't show it off enough. It's just absolutely perfect. She asks what your favorite colors are, and then you just tell her. So I assume that I'm on video.
Yes, you are.
First of all, we want to thank you all for the wonderful presentation. This was so much fun. Thank you, Philippe and Marie-Laure, for sharing your fabulous expertise. We learned so much. Philippe, we can't wait to enjoy your food in person, maybe at my house. Steve just came over to watch the Crepes, and he agrees that we have to do something here when we can finally have some company.
Thank you very much.
We have the French porcelain to serve the food on, so I'm very happy about that.
Thank you.
Marie-Laure's gorgeous flower arrangements definitely make a party. And if we ever have another wedding in our family, we know who to call. We're not sure if we will, but we hope we will. And I signed up for Marie-Laure's class in floral design, and I am so excited, especially after watching this. Thank you, Carolyn, for the great idea to have this event and for producing it. And you are the interviewer extraordinaire. Debbie had the original idea for to have this event as a luncheon at a club, which never was able to happen after COVID came. But then we decided to segue this into the class that we're having tonight, and Carolyn taught us how to have an event on a webinar. And Ben in New York, who is just everybody's best friend, Ben was just amazing. He knows how to do this, and he got up to speed faster than any of the rest of us. So anytime there's a French Heritage webinar or Zoom, Ben is the man. And thank you, Ben. We hope that you all will join us when we can gather again in person. Our events are about good food, good French wine, French food, and food for the brain. So you will always learn something like tonight when you come to one of our events, but we will also give you great French food and wine. In the meantime, we invite you to support our Atlanta grants by donating through the link in the chat function at the bottom of your screen. If you don't like to do that, you can also support our grants by going to the French Heritage Society website or calling the New York office or call Debbie or me. We can all help you and our wonderful grants need all the help they can get, especially now. And we also have one of our wonderful guests tonight is Jennifer Herline, the Executive Director of French Heritage. Thank you, Jennifer, so much